Ahem. Ahem. Do 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 do. Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are watching live or watching pre-recorded. I hope you're all doing well today. Happy Wednesday. It's the day after an extended weekend for most of y'all. So if you had anything fun going on, then let me know. Oh, let me turn down the music on my headphones. Music's gonna cut out for a bit because I'm using like this weird plugin, but it'll come back, so don't worry. Hey, Lo-Fi, how's it going? Let's see here. Sound. The perks of using OBS on a Mac. There you go. All right, music should be back now. All right, Lo-Fi, how are you? How's it going? Hope you had a wonderful extended weekend, if that was the case for you. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm in a little bit of pain right now, but just took some Tylenol, so we're good. Yeah, but I had a pretty good break. So as you guys know, I was out for 2 weeks. I had intentionally wanted to be out just for 1 week because I went to probably one of the best music festivals, electronic music festivals in the United States. Whoa, account one. I'm sorry I didn't catch your actual username, but thank you. I don't know if that's a Streamlabs error thing or whatever is that, but anyways, welcome. Feel free to say hello, whoever you are, or feel free to lurk as well. That's good. But yeah, as I was saying, I just got back from it's a music festival in Michigan called Electric Forest, and it's a 4-day music festival. We camped for 5-6 days. We left on the 6th day. But it was a lot of fun. It was a little brutal because we were out there in the elements. I didn't know Michigan could get so hot. I'm from Vegas, and it gets really hot here. It's already triple digits at the moment, actually. But yeah, Michigan was unexpectedly hot, and very fun though. Very fun music festival. I mean, it was like 4 days of just like walking around in the heat and the dust, and there was a storm and everything. So it was a lot, but it was really fun. Got to see a lot of artists and a lot of art, and just to hang out with good people. So did that, and so the day we came back, which was actually my 32nd birthday, I got really sick. I had like one of the worst colds I've ever had in the past few years, so I got really sick from that, hence why I couldn't stream when I intended or hoped for. But feeling a lot better now. And I'm ready to, very inspired to tackle this painting, which I'll get to more about in a bit. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Same with like the sickness or the motivation or or are you also a bird? But yeah, oh, my nails, they look good. So they'll be making a feature for the next 2-3 weeks before I decide to get rid of them. All of the above. We were inhaling party bouillon. Ugh. That sounds nasty, but it was. Not gonna lie, it kind of was. A lot of dust, honestly. But anyways, painting. Painting. That's what I was up to. I was just chilling. Spent 4th of July chill and just hanging out with the pups. So he's doing good. It was a good rest. But yeah. So more about this painting. It's a phoenix, in case I don't know if that was obvious, but yeah, I really wanted to get back into painting. It's something that I don't do very much. I mean, like, I do have a painting back there, It's something I don't do very much because I also like to do ink drawings and they tend to be just like quicker and like just really cool to work with. But like painting and color, even working with color is like a whole thing to me because there's just so much that goes into color theory, and it's like I really want to explore it some more because I think color is really cool. I mean, not just because I'm Joyce Rainbow, come on, but there's a lot that I want to explore with color and how to use it and how to play with like different temperatures and form and all that fun stuff. So there's a lot, but I'm excited to get back into it. I chose to do an analogous color scheme for this one, which means the colors that are next to each other in the color palette with having I think analogous colors is a good way to get back into painting and working with color, because personally I think it's pretty simple, but I really want to do some like really advanced polychromatic stuff but I gotta start somewhere easy. So I'm going with a mostly red color scheme and putting a little bit, my palette's mostly gonna be, and I'll show you my materials in a bit, but mostly just gonna be like a range from red to yellows and oranges. And it's hard to see with this camera, but I do like the subtleties that are added into colors. So I did put a little bit of blue, just a touch of blue in here to get that like purple cool shadow, because you want your shadows when you paint to have the opposite temperature of what your highlights are and your midtones, I believe. So you want that to be like contrasting. So I did put a little bit of blue in there since it's cool. And then the background as well. So this was actually, I bought this as a black canvas and I did some layers to the background with a little bit of purple because I wanted to go for like a really, really dark kind of unsaturated purple, bluish purple. And what that does is it gives it, so it's just not plain black, because I think adding just a little bit of color to make it really dark but not black will help have the painting stand out. So it's very subtle, hard to pick up with this camera right now, but it's in there to make it pop. And then some of these textures back here, which resemble smoke, they were done with a sponge, and I've never painted with a sponge before. Like I'll show you just a sea sponge, you know? Like one of these guys, like this really textured guy right here. So just making textures and yeah, just going from there, experimenting and seeing what's new in the art world, you know? What can you use? And wow, that looks cool. Anyways, so that's like the tiny bit of like blues that are in there. Probably won't do much with that today, but who knows? So the next question you're probably wondering is like, why is it white? what is going on here? Because I said I wanted the Phoenix to be red, but it's white. So funny thing is I actually painted the wings already. So here's my mock-up, by the way. I always mock up on my iPad. And yeah, a little bit bright because it's a screen, but see how the wings just kind of go out like that in one layer? And I've drawn a lot of wings when I was in like high school, college. I just love drawing wings. So I actually did that. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's not what a bird looks like. I think if I'm gonna do this painting, I want it to look as believable as possible. So it just didn't look like a bird to me. And so I painted over like everything I did, which was about maybe 6 hours of work. But I was like, no, I need to get this right. So another thing that I had failed to do at the time was I painted direct. So what that means was I put brush, like I put paint on my brush and I just painted on the canvas and didn't really do much. So because the canvas is dark, the paints do not, like This is Golden Heavy Body Paint, by the way. This is what I'm using. But there still is a little bit of opacity to the paints, so that if you're painting on a dark background, the paints are not going to be as vivid and bright, so they're going to look a little mudded. So that was something that was kind of like, oh duh, I should have done, but that's okay. I mean, like, now I've come up with some better wings, and that's what the white is for. So the white is so once I put the paints on it, which I can do it with like a glaze or just like thin it out a little bit, because this is pretty heavy body stuff after all. But once I do that, the reds are gonna look so much more vibrant. And then I'll be doing that again for like when I add in the more orange and like orange yellow colors. So it could look really vibrant and really pop out, because sometimes that opacity can be a little muddling. So that's what's going on here. This section is for the reds. And then a little like towards the middle here, because I already have most of the color down, this is gonna be for the yellows. Hello, Adam, welcome in, how are you? I just went over kind of what I was doing over here and kind of my game plan and why it's laid out the way it is. So, and with that, I'll go over a material rundown of what I'll be using, and then we'll get started. Woo, and drink some water, goodness. I used to have a hydrate bot in my Twitch streams. I don't have one anymore here. I might bring it back, but remember to hydrate. It's very, very hot. Ooh, color is a lot of fun to mess around with. And I get so indecisive sometimes when I try to color something. I'm just like, there are so many combinations and like so many of them look cool, and I feel like I keep falling back to the same ones. Oh, the canvas camera has a slower frame rate? Yeah, I've been seeing that on my screen too, so thanks for letting me know that it's on your side. I think this is at 1080, so, which is usually fine, but let me see. I'm thinking about changing it. I was actually thinking about streaming 4K today, but it's probably because I didn't restart my laptop. I'll probably bump this down to 720 and see. Is that still kind of slow? Yeah. Huh. Looks the same. Stream health is good. Yeah, sometimes it kind of just like fixes itself over time. So I'll probably do that, and I'll probably close some applications and then see what happens. But no, I appreciate you letting me know, because sometimes that stuff it's not quite obvious at first. Let's close Spotify. Maybe, oh, there's some stuff I gotta save in Photoshop. 1 second. Whoa, I somehow just like bumped my mouse into the iPad, and now my mouse only works on my iPad. Oh, that's weird. Some weird like Mac stuff I'm not used to. That might be because Photoshop's open. Let me just save that. Okay. All right, Photoshop can be like a monster sometimes. Okay, I'll change that back to 1080 for now. What happens? Whoa. Okay. All right, we'll roll with that. Okay, so material rundown. So like I said, I was using golden body paint, heavy body paints, and a lot of acrylic paints out there are so opaque, or like translucent. Yeah, opposite of opaque. Transparent and translucent, to where it doesn't look like the paint is applied fully and correctly. So these are a little bit on the higher end of paints and price. So if you're just starting out with acrylics, I'd probably start out with something a little more mid, and then if you decide that you want to do some like more serious work with acrylics, I would definitely bump up to these these paints. So Golden heavy body, really, really good brand. And then as far as my palette goes, see if I could angle this correctly. Well, you can already see in comparison to like my head, it's a pretty big palette. It's called a Sta Wet palette. I think it's supposed to be pronounced Stay Wet, but just say Sta, spelled Sta Wet. So yeah, here's a sponge and some parchment paper. The sponge really helps keep the acrylic paints wet, because if there was no moisture while working with these acrylic paints and I was just working straight on a palette, it would dry up immediately. And I learned this when I was doing an outdoor painting event in October in where I live, Vegas, and it was a little bit windy too. Like my cheap stand kept falling over, and my paints would just dry, and I didn't really think about trying to keep them wet because acrylics are like a plastic basically, so it just dries. And where I live we have like 10% humidity right now in our sky level, so it's a very, very dry place. So that helps. Palette knives. I have a cheap plastic one and then a metal one. Use the metal one. The plastic one is just here because it's lying around. Hey Ja, how are you today? And then trying to get my windows together. Brushes. I just have a bunch of them, really. Not very interesting to look at, but just brushes. But I do want to show you kind of a few types. Here you go. Okay. So here's just like a handful of some of my brushes. I'm not like very versed in really knowing what each brush does, but here's kind of how I do things. So there's like more of that fluffy brush, and then there's something with more of an edge, and like some tinier brushes. This one has like an angle on it. This one has a very thin edge. Hold on. Close. Yeah, I turned off autofocus because it tends to annoy things, but yeah, so brushes with like a thinner edge for this can take up, I usually use that for taking up a bunch of space and having something in like a specific stroke line. But I also use it to do, like, turn it on its side like this and to do very cut and like very shaped shapes. I'm such a great art teacher. Shaped shapes, very angular shapes, you know, like hard edges. There you go. But, and then like smaller brushes for details, and then stuff like this, which is a little more bushy and brushy, is more for like blending. So I've actually gotten better at makeup. I didn't wear makeup since until I got into cosplaying, actually, which I was around 22, 23. And then it's like, whoa, this is like a makeup brush, because like you blend in like makeup on your face. It works the same way with painting, or you can like blend in colors to make it look more like a gradient and stuff like that. But that's pretty much how I use, like, why I choose the brushes that I choose to paint something. I would say for glazing, which is what I'm about to do, probably something like this. Just because it gets that more even application, whereas something more fuzzier does more of a, can have more of a texture even, but more like it's more for like a blendiness instead of an applicator. So that's what I got. All right. I'm gonna start putting some red here. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you, Ja. How was your weekend? If you had an extended weekend? Anyone here? Doing anything fun? Like I said, I was recovering from a really bad cold. But it was worth it. So you don't want to put, it's okay to put a little bit of water to thin out your acrylic paints, but you really don't want to overdo it. Because if you put too much water, the pigments will separate. That's pretty much what's going on when water is applied to acrylic paints, is that it thins out the pigment instead of like loosening it in a way. But a little bit's fine. Oh, I think, no, I just want to add a touch of yellow before I get that base color, because we're going with like more warm tones here. Your weekend was lovely. Went to the art supply store. That's always a lovely time. Always like an expensive time for me, but it's worth it. So what'd you get? Did you get anything fun? That's why I have to like stop myself from being a collector of items, because being a traditional artist takes up a lot of room already. Like, behind all this is just mess. Like, I was thinking about it today, you know, I cleaned my studio and within 2 minutes it's already messy because like I just have so many supplies. Keep up with trying to put all that back. All right, so that's more water. Nice to use a spray bottle just to like apply water. Very small percentages. I think that's still, I think that's around, yeah, that's like the right amount of opacity, because you can actually see the shadows and the form. So it's too thick if the shadow doesn't really pull through, but yeah, I think Looks about right. I think I'll add a little bit more yellow though. I think I just want more yellow. You got some watercolors you've been dying to try. Some large watercolor paper and a sketchbook. Dude, that is something that I can't ever have enough of, is sketchbooks. And I still have sketchbooks I haven't used while I go out and I buy more sketchbooks. But it's just like, there's so many different canvases that you want to do stuff on when you're sketching. And no, it's fun though. What brand of watercolors did you get? I'm not very good with watercolors, but I find it fun. I think the thing about watercolors is that you have to be a patient person, and I'm not a patient person, so I just end up working with other things instead. Although I have to say, you have to be very patient with acrylics. Well, not as patient as oils, though. You have to be kind of patient with acrylics, because at least acrylics will dry immediately, while oils will take over a week sometimes. Probably out here, an oil painting will be dry in like a week, but somewhere more humid it might take longer. Daniel Smith. Who's Daniel Smith? Is that a watercolor guy? And then paper. Ooh. Yeah. I also want to try out different watercolor papers as well. I do have an Arches block, which... Arches? Archie? It's like a watercolor block. Watercolor paper block. That's bound at the edges, except for one little slot where you can stick in your palette knife to peel it off. Then you can do that when you're done with a painting, because watercolor paintings tend to warp the paper. Oh, the brand. Oh yeah, I did ask about that. Well, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Huh. Then again, I don't know very many watercolor brands, so I don't know how I expected to know to like know what you're saying. Excuse me. Arches is amazing. Excuse me. But I find it dries too fast. Really? So I guess I never thought about that. That the paper also affects the dry time, but I guess that makes sense. I think because Arches is really toothy, that's probably what makes it dry so fast, because it has all this texture and like it's a little bit thicker, I suppose. I read that as he makes fantastic plants. I was like, what? Is he like a plant artist or something? Okay, Fantastic Paints. They have a lot of really unique colors they put out. That's cool. Yeah, like, and I don't know how much this applies to watercolor. I'm sure it does. Yeah, I'm sure it does to some degree, because you know how digital paints you can get just about any color you want, but with traditional paints, I'm gonna say analog, but with traditional paints, even if you were to mix, like, you can make pretty much any base color. I'm pretty sure there's a better term for this, but like pretty much hue with yellow, blue, and red paint. So you can get like green and orange and yellow orange and you know, all those like primary hue colors with paints. But you can't really get, let me just show you. There's still certain opacities and saturations of colors that you can't really get. So I have to buy them. Like, for example, this specific orange. So this orange right here is like a way saturated orange compared to this. Not like highlighter orange, but like this orange is different from this orange. This orange can't be achieved with like the natural red, yellow, and blues. I'm gonna show you my green, like a lime green, for example. Like I can't really get like that saturated lime green because I'm mixing this pigment and it's not, it doesn't achieve that level of saturation. Probably because it's mixed or because like the blues and the reds are so specific. Like for example, this is a cobalt blue, which is pretty standard for painting, but there's many different types of blue. So that's probably affects it as well. See, like all these subtleties with color theory, and it's like, whoa, when you try to get back into it. Whoa. But yeah, I'm just glazing the white now. Yeah, that's popping out pretty well. I think a little bit of texture I want to bring back in the camera. I think I want to try to underexpose. Nah, y'all can't see that. Because like part of what I do with the white layer, contrast, bring out that texture. Yeah, brand too. And it's like you don't even think about that. It's just so subtle. Until you work with color a lot, and you're like, sometimes you just want that specific color. You're like, how can I get this specific color? I'm starting to get like that. I'm like, I want this very specific color, but I guess I kind of, because I don't work digitally for the most part, so hard. And especially like I do my mock-ups digitally, but I don't do a lot of finished pieces digitally. I do have some that I've done, but I think I just try to work with physical medium as much as I can. Just trying to get better at it, you know. But switching up to digital is fun every once in a while. But yeah, it's hard, especially when I try to mock something up digitally and those colors just can't translate into traditional colors. Like it's just way off. Or maybe because a combination of that and like my color theory skills, I feel like are still, like I still have ways to go with that. So to like learn how to mix that right color, it's a science. It really is a science. It should be like, what is it? It's like AP honors class level sciences because you can learn so much from it. I think a lot of it too, a lot of color theory just comes from, really has a lot to do with color physics and lighting and just certain like angles which the light hits and temperature and relationships with other colors and like dealing with the warm blues and the cool yellows and like weird stuff like that. There's a way to simplify the digital color wheel. I feel like it all boils down to something that's way more simple, which really that's how art is. Like it all just boils down your fundamentals and then it gets fancy from there. But I just think about so much with color, and then there's like the level of saturation you need that color to be too. Like you want to pair like something not as saturated with something saturated, there's a lot. But it's really cool. It's really cool when you start to achieve that stuff. So on that note, I have been working on the next YouTube video, which kind of just goes over just like a little artist like mini podcast monologue type thing where I just go over what's been going on the last 18 months or so, because I've been kind of, you know, taking a break from streaming, and just like why I did what I did and like how that helped me out and just stuff like that, and covering like some like more mental health stuff as far as artists go, and taking breaks is important, and you know, lots of stuff like that. But yeah, just casual chat, you know. So I'll be filming that this week, probably tomorrow, and so be on the lookout for that. I'm super excited to like really start making some more video content for real. Like YouTube is fun. YouTube is fun. Video content is a lot of work, but I'm just getting better at it and getting more efficient. Like, for example, you love a podcast. Is it still a podcast if it's just one? Well, yeah, I've listened to like one person podcasts, so it's like that. It's like that. I'll be sure to crack jokes and stuff. So it's not just dry. But no, at least I think it's some pretty interesting stuff. Because a lot of it covers just being very introspective and having some time to just really think about like what I want in my career, where I want that to go, what that's gonna look like in a few years, and the trajectory of the tools that I'm the programs and stuff that I'm currently using right now, where that's gonna go. Yeah, new beginnings, like a phoenix, caca. So phoenixes are dope. But yeah, yeah, so that's been working on that. I think it's pretty fun. I think something to circle back to the whole color theory thing and traditional paints. I think that a part of traditional painting, especially with watercolors, is that you just gotta let the medium do its thing sometimes. Like, yeah, there's an amount of control to it, and, you know, making it look exactly how you want it to look, but sometimes you just gotta let it go. And part of that with acrylic painting is that every time I mix a color, because I run out of like a certain color and I have to remix it, it's not always gonna be exactly the same. Like, I'm not gonna get the same ratio of color exactly every time. So there's gonna be like a little bit of variance with that color, and that's just part of the medium, you know? It's something that you don't see a lot when you look at paintings online, like through a screen, as opposed to in person, because it's subtle. That's a really cool thing about traditional work, is that there's just these imperfect subtleties, and it just speaks like, you know what, it's okay, I'm just gonna do my own thing and it's gonna be cool. You know, that's the cool thing about traditional art. Watercolors often feel like I'm orchestrating chaos more than I'm doing art. Yeah. I think so. I actually did work in watercolor for a bit. but it was like, trying to think of another word for bad, but it was bad. Well, okay, it wasn't bad actually, but it was like the least amount of effort you can put in to do a watercolor painting with most of what I did, because I would do like these quick pieces as commissions and stuff. So they were like okay, I guess is the right word, but it was like a brush pen outline, my style. It was a brush pen outline and then watercolors, but it would be like, I wouldn't mix the watercolors. I would just pull the color straight out from the palette and paint them without mixing or whatever. And then if I wanted a darker color for a shadow, I would just add black to it. It was very lazy, and it didn't have the like wow factor to it. It was just more of like, okay, here's Captain Falcon, you know. I did a lot of video game paintings, mainly in Marvel. So it just looked very, 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 very bland. So I think, like, if I were to come back, try watercolors again, paint the side of the canvas here. If I were to do that, I would mix colors. I would play around. I would probably make like a sheet of just playing around with the colors and seeing what different opacities do. I think that's important when you want to seriously use a new medium, is just like play around with it and see what different effects do. And then I would try to see what layering looks like. Something I haven't done yet with my paints. I should do this at some point. Maybe I'll stream it, I don't know. But I do want to make like a swatch board of my paints, like acrylic paints, and see with different levels of opacity and colors, like what that looks like in a grid. And it can, I heard it's a really good guide once you do that. Oh, man. I should. Half the fun you have with watercolors is letting the colors mix on paper, and it has such cool effects. That's something I haven't really done a lot of either, is just like make cool effects with my medium. Maybe because I'm like, I just need this thing to look exactly how I want it. I don't know. Which, like, you have to let go a little bit with traditional stuff. Like a bird, caca. That's gonna be the catchphrase whole evening. Like a bird. I need water. Like a bird. Okay. So I do have, this is a canvas board, by the way. And I do have about half an inch. Damn, it's actually cold. Let me turn the AC off. It's been so hot here in Vegas. Like, I mean, those of y'all in like humid climates, I'm also very sorry, because that also really sucks. So don't get me wrong, we're all suffering here. But man, so Vegas has actually had the longest stretch this year of temperatures below 100 degrees, which is like a weird trophy to have, isn't it? Like, congratulations, you are under 100 degrees. But it finally got to 100 degrees. But yeah, anyways, what I'm doing, just painted the sides because I don't want the sides to go unnoticed. Still technically a 3D piece of work. Last night it was 100 and there was no sun. Yeah, that's a weird thing, is that when the sun sets, because the sun sets like a little earlier for us because we have mountains. So the sun sets below the mountains before it like really sets below the horizon. So it'll stay hot for a while before it's, you know, before it's like or after it gets dark even, which is pretty funny. Yeah, it was 100. Very hot 4th of July. There's some of that dry paint. I don't know if you can hear that. Very soothing. Horribly hot. It's horrible, but you know what? It's actually actually like just a different kind of bad compared to the rest of the United States, because I know in the South, like some of y'all are from Texas here, so you know that it gets really, really hot and very, very wet. And I haven't like really experienced that. I've never been in Texas during those times, but I've been to the Philippines, which is near the equator and is also very hot. So I could imagine that it's probably like that. Oh, horrible at home. Yeah. But you know what? Actually, even though like Vegas heat isn't that bad, the number one thing I don't like about the weather here is not the heat, but the constant wind. And we don't get like extremely strong winds, like mini hurricane style or stuff like that. Like the winds here are for the most part non-damaging. It does damage though, but for the most part it doesn't. However, it's very it's very constant when it happens. And it's not like a breeze. It's not like, oh, I smell like nature and this is such a beautiful breeze. No, it's like sand being thrown in your face. So that happens a lot. And so the wind here isn't very great. I think the heat I can deal with. I'm in the shade even, like it's okay, but not the wind. And you know what? Sometimes it's both. It's just like, wow. Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's actually what I think every time I go outside. I'm like, this heat is disrespectful right now. Straight up disrespecting me. Or the weather, the wind. High winds sound like they can be rather exhausting from what you've been told by folks in really windy places. Well, when we get our strong winds, I think they can be about 30, 35 miles per hour, which it's not like a storm, but it's like trees do fall over and trampolines fly away. That tends to happen a lot in the city. Stuff like that. I actually, like, that happened to me when I first moved into an apartment. We had assigned parking spaces, but I couldn't use mine because a tree fell on it. So I had to wait a week before I could park in my assigned space. So like stuff like that. But I could imagine somebody living somewhere like in the mountains where it gets really windy. I can imagine that just being like even terrifying, you know, because your power can cut off, and I'm sure that happens. And like stuff, like serious stuff can fall over, break in your home. So I'm sure like having to be ready and support that is a bit exhausting. Disrespectful weather. But you know what? I think just like a pretty spring makes it all worth it. No, actually, damn it. You know what? I wish spring was my favorite season because it just sounds so beautiful. However, I am a chronic allergy sufferer to where I seriously have allergies every single day. Where I wake up and I just sneeze. I'm just allergic to life, but I am getting like treated for that currently. But it does not make me enjoy spring very much. But it's pretty. It's pretty, and there's like bumblebees, and everything just becomes more vibrant. And it's like, oh, how beautiful, especially if you live somewhere very green, which I don't. But even the deserts this year, because we go hiking quite a bit. By the way, desert hikes are very, very beautiful. You've never been on one. And I live near a national park, national conservation area, technically, Red Rock. So, pretty close to Vegas. And it's pretty because there's like cactus flowers, and sometimes you go like into the mountains because it's like a desert landscape that goes into mountains and slot canyons. You can see a little bit of water and the terrain just changes. Like it's so trippy coming from like a desert cactusy flat land. And then you keep walking and it's like trees and there's like a river and the plants just change. I think I went with my brother on a hike last month and he was just like, whoa, this is like, he's from Washington, like Pacific Northwest, by the way. He was just like, whoa, this is so crazy. And I'm like, wow, it really is. You really want to visit a desert. They're gorgeous. And it's funny because I've lived here in the desert for 19 years. Yeah. Almost 20 years, goodness. But there are different types of desert. So yeah, we even saw some tiny little toads just like hopping around because there was a little bit of water in the slot canyon hike we did. They're like itty bitty toads. They were so cute. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so there's different types of deserts. And the Vegas desert, which I believe is part of the Mojave Desert and how the Mojave Desert is in general, is that it's a little more green, actually. Like, there's more Joshua trees, there's more like little desert shrubs here and there. It's like a texture map of desert shrubs almost. That's like what our natural desert looks like. And then you go even more west. Oh, that's very orange. Yeah, some more red there. You go even more west towards California and you get Death Valley. So that's where we went. Better color. There you go. That's where we went in May. Oh goodness, that's like 2 months ago already. I think. Yeah, we went in May. And It's incredible to go to this desert, which is huge, by the way. It takes 3 hours to get from one end to the other of like the actual park. But there's like actually nothing, like no plants whatsoever, just nothing. And it's actually where they filmed Tatooine from Star Wars. So they filmed it here because it looks like a different planet, because there's just nothing, just rocks. And in some places there are also salt flats where all you see is just borax salt everywhere. You have borax salt, and you have just like these hills and different colored rocks. There's so many cool rocks at Death Valley because it's just, that's all there is. It's just rocks. And it's so trippy when you actually see it, just a place with absolutely nothing. So that's Death Valley. And then you go, if you go the opposite direction, so east of Vegas, you get Utah, southern Utah specifically. And southern Utah has a gorgeous landscape of really cool shaped rocks. Arizona as well. I think that triad of Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico, they have some really interesting red, rocky striped landscapes that are shaped by the wind and the canyons, and they make these really cool looking structures. So there's like that kind of desert as well. So yeah, very, very central to a lot of different environments out here. We actually do have a state park here in Nevada, an hour away from Las Vegas, called Valley of Fire, which, by the way, Death Valley, I confuse the two all the time, but Death Valley is in California. Valley of Fire is on the way to Utah. They're both really beautiful places to watch the night sky. Oh, your phone fell out. I actually went comet viewing at Valley of Fire because it's easier to see the night sky out there. But yeah, they're both very beautiful. Death Valley 2 hours away, Valley of Fire an hour away. So very, very beautiful places. Yeah, wow, that glazing looks pretty good. Pretty good. So what we're gonna do is basically repeat what I did here. Whoa, my finger matches painting. That's the color we're gonna put down pretty much. That orange. Yeah, like for example, the orange on my nail polish is like a very, very bright, vivid highlighter orange. But mixing paints, I won't get to that because it's just not in the pigment. But I'm okay with that muted color if I have white underneath it, because I feel like that combination enough is okay. And I'll put in like lots of yellows in here too to make it really glow. So yeah, we're just gonna repeat once again. This dries immediately, so go back with some white paint and just do that extra layer of fun. Yeah, you kind of go back and forth between coloring and texturing and valuing and back to color, and just working with those 2-3 things. Okay, so we're gonna work with white. Oh, I didn't even put down some white paint. As a painter, I don't know how much this applies to watercolor paints actually, but as an acrylic painter, white paints go by very quickly because I basically mix it with everything, and I use them a lot as a base. So because I use it a lot pretty frequently as a base for coloring, it goes by. So I make sure to have a lot. Little paint basket. Titanium white. Like different types of white too, and they're all like crazy, so subtle. Like painting a wall in your house, and you go to Home Depot and they have all these different white colors. like how do I choose? So subtle. Okay, applying some white paint. I'll just put like a generous glob on my palette because I find it's better just to put more paint than less, especially if you have a stay wet palette. By the way, this one, it does come with a lid, so I can actually keep the colors in here to last about a week or so. Keep it like fresh to work with, moist. Definitely not much of a thing with watercolors. Yeah, I would, because with watercolors you always work with a white background and then you just add colors to it until it gets darker and darker, I assume. So I guess it would make sense not to really use white in watercolors. I can see it for like having like a pastel color if you just want to increase the tint, but not really to brighten things up, because that's not how watercolors work. All right. So for this one, I'm gonna use, so I was using this brush. It's good for coverage with what I was doing. I could probably even go with a bigger brush, honestly. See how that goes. But for the white, I'll be using this one, which is a pretty similar brush. But like I said, with that, if you turn it to its side, you get that edge. That's really what I'm looking for, is doing like these edge strokes and then doing like a fan out like that, so I can get like a gradient of light that's coming from this way to really hit those wings and really make them look 3D. Okay, thank you so much, Shank, for stopping by. Have a good rest of your night and take care. White. And once again, gonna thin it out just a little bit. So each medium, to me, it's like it has its own personality. Like each medium is a different person that you meet, or something rather. Like they all have different personalities. And let me bring up some, do I have some Phoenix references? So like with some mediums are more patient. Some of them have more of a softness or a hardness in them. Like ink medium is a very, well, it can be a soft medium, but I find ink medium to be more bold and aggressive. So that's usually what I associate that with. Oh wow, why didn't I pull up my reference board in the first place? I have a good reference board, which is a program called PureRef, by the way. It's free, and it's for desktop. For laptop, or for tablet, I use VizRef, but that one costs like $3-4. But they're both pretty similar. I think I do like PureRef more though. There's a lot more you can do with it. It just keeps your references on screen. I have an idea of what these textures really look like with the light. Yeah. Okay. But it's really, I think the thing that surprises me every time is just how different each artistic medium is, because most people tend to assume that if an artist can paint, an artist can if an artist uses paints primarily, that they can also or like a watercolor painter can also do acrylic type of painting, and an ink artist can use pastels or whatever. But it's very different. It's very well. Some of them are the same, but I think specifically, I had a chance to experiment with new mediums, which is good to do from time to time. And I tried out spray paints, and they're so difficult. They're like easy. Well, just to get something exactly the way you want it to be. I guess that's my metric for difficult. It's like how much control you have over them. And it's a lot more difficult, I find, than a lot of other mediums I've tried. But everyone I've talked to who uses them says they're fun. I'm gonna do that for each and every feather. I think that's why wings take so long. But that's okay. They're actually really cool to paint. It's a cool texture. It's probably why I drew them a lot when I was in high school or college. Egg. Wear my glasses or something when I stream. I read that as like egg tempura, which I tried the other day. Like an egg and like tempura with vegetables and stuff. Was not impressed, but egg tempura. Egg tempura. So what? I've heard of that before. I know it's a pretty unique medium. Not a lot of artists use it. It's a very old school way of painting, but what does that entail for setup? I'm very curious. Yeah, we went to the Japanese restaurant and I was looking for an add-on for my ramen. Did I have ramen? No, I think I had something else. But anyways, I was like, yeah. No, wait, no, I had udon. That's what I had. Udon. So I just saw that there was like a tempura egg, but it was really just a hard-boiled egg that was like a plain hard-boiled egg that had tempura coating on it. So just like, I do like the ramen eggs though, like the soy egg, I think. Yeah, that stuff, because you have to, the way to prep that stuff, you have to prepare it like, I think a day in advance or something like that. Get it to really soak in that soy. But it's good. It's good. Probably try that next time. Well, Miko, Jaw is a bold person. Bold people make bold choices. No, that sounds like fun though. Some art mediums just take so long and just have so much involved with how it works that it's actually like part of the art process. Or I think the example that comes to mind is traditional black and white photography, which I had to take in college. It's a lot to get a picture. It's a lot. But you see the photograph and you're like, whoa, like this did not come from a printer. It like came from me manipulating the light. And like obviously after you take a picture with a camera, in traditional photography, you have to manipulate the exposure time. And like you can they even taught us how to burn and dodge, like if you wanted certain parts of the photograph to be darker and lighter, like you're painting with light. So it's a really cool, very respectful medium, I would say, but ooh, it's a long time to get set up. I think that's why a bunch of eggs on your desk. Pretty much what it is. That's the setup. It's like eggs. I don't know about you, but I'd be hungry. There you go. My painting texture almost looks like a pencil in a way. Like I'm trying to get, I don't know, maybe that's just my style, but I want like smoother paints. Kind of looks like a pencil almost. Maybe I've seen artists use like one brush, needs to be damp a bit, one brush blend, and the other brush to apply, just like eyeshadow. I was thinking about that today. I was getting ready. I was like, one brush to apply and one to blend. Let's try that. I think I've always really enjoyed blending. Kind of that not overly blended look, like airbrushy. It's a little much for me. But when I started to take drawing seriously, I loved to blend. I had like I believe it's called a tortillon, the French blending stump. And I would use pencils like the H4H and the 6Bs and the B pencils, and which dictates different softness in the lead. So I would use like soft lead pencils and a blending stump. That was typically how I did a lot of my drawings. And I would do like photorealism drawings. I was really into that because it just looked like really cool. I would do like portraits and they would be like photorealistic. I should pull up this drawing I did. I think it was like high school or early college, but on my old DeviantArt page, I I had a contest for who can catch my 10,000th page view, and I didn't think anyone would see it really. Unless you're just there and refreshing. I don't know if it works like that, but it was this guy from Sweden, and his portrait was him at Burger King wearing aviators. So I was like, and what was really cool though, so he was wearing this plaid shirt, and with his aviators, you could see the reflection of the Burger King tray. I think it was Burger King, at least. I don't know. McDonald's. You can see the reflection and like what was on his tray and stuff. So I worked with those. I really had a lot of fun with those details. It took forever. I even had like an electric eraser with like a really small nib, and just like went in there and erased the graphite and did all these like tiny little shapes. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It took forever, but I would do stuff like that. I think that was probably my most complex piece back then. But as time went on, I think I was in this dilemma when I was in high school or early college even, where no, I made this choice when I was around 19 or so. But before then, I would like drawing anime stuff. I enjoyed drawing anime and like cartoony stuff and chibis or whatever. So I liked drawing in an anime style. It was very fun. I did like Gaia Online portraits and stuff like that. But I was not very good at them. And on the contrary, I was good at this photorealistic stuff. But I got bored of them very quickly. And I don't know if you guys did this in painting school, in high school even, or even middle school. They teach you this. It's like the most fundamental way to do a photorealistic painting. They do the grid system to like match everything up. So I actually did that for the first couple of years I drew. I did like the grid system, and I just like matched everything up until I just kind of learned how to make my own grid system. And I still kind of do that too when I'm doing like life drawing and kind of drawing in those realistic proportions, where I just I make these associations like, okay, the nose is lined up with this, and shoulders to belly button and stuff like that, like those relationships. And so that helps me determine where things are on a canvas. So I still kind of do that in a way, but back then it was like, I just really enjoyed, I really thought it was cool how easy it was achieved to do something really cool with graphites and like photorealism. But it did get old very quickly. I was like, I just want to draw fun anime stuff. I want to draw like a badass Inuyasha or something. It's the Shomaru. It was probably Sesshomaru. More of a Sesshomaru person, but but you know what I mean. Like I just wanted to take skill and fun and merge them. So I did that. Once I went into college, that was my goal. You did that exercise in middle school? What, draw Sesshomaru? A funky version was a limited. Oh, the grid thing? Yeah. Probably where they have you draw a grid and then each grid is like a different like colors and stuff like that. Sometimes I forget, so I think there's a bit of a lag. I reduced it though, a lag with YouTube chat and me. So like by the time I get your messages, I'm just like, what was that? What was I referring to? The showroom? We'll just go down the list. See what applies. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a very, like, I get it. It's a very easy way to get people introduced to that habit of relationships with things. I think a grid is definitely overkill, but I feel like it's a very good guide to get things to be where they need to be, if that's what you're trying to achieve. Because like it's art, you know, things don't always have to be where they have to be. But if you want to do that photorealistic style, things have to be where they have to be. Every square of the figure would get a circle on the figure inside. Oh, so it was kind of like little, I mean, we did like a Chuck Close thing where it had like each square, each triangle had like different colors and stuff. Kind of like this abstract, like super colorful looking. I don't know if you like copied a portrait or whatever. Been thinking about that. I'm like, how do you teach someone high school age? Well, I think middle schoolers have the comprehension to start learning more like advanced techniques with art, but for elementary school kids, it's like, I think you just have to like let them play, which is honestly not a bad way to learn. So I think that's why a lot of like grade level art assignments are so all over the place, because I think they just want people to do stuff and play. Oh, a classmate. Okay. Live draw to get the sketch and then painted. Gotcha. Good old life drawing. Drawing on the right side of the brain is meant for 4-year-olds. What is the right side of the brain? That's the creative side again? I don't know. 4 to 99. Oh, the Lego ages. It's illegal. 100-year-olds are above the law. It's creative. Oh, okay. Is it because 4-year-olds have more of that side developed? I mean, I taught swim lessons to a variety of ages, and I feel like when I've taught babies and I don't know why I said it like that. Babies and preschoolers, it was really just letting them play in the water. Because I feel like that's how they start to find things that, like, their motor skills through experimenting, like having fun with it. I mean, being comfortable, because the water is a scary place especially for a lot of young children. So just having them be comfortable with it. That's like the first. Maybe it's the same thing for art. Like, I mean, it's not as scary to young children, but sometimes I get scared of art. Child. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't really, I could be wrong, but I don't really take the whole right brain, left brain thing too literally, because I think it's more of like a categorization of where certain parts of your brain light up. That's what I think. I don't know if it's like scientifically proven. I mean, technically, all of the brain is kind of does a little bit of everything. Works together. But there's definitely departments. I'm gonna mix up a little bit more whites. Starting to match with what we had here originally. Double raises a theory that the brain, like, it doesn't really matter right and left, right? Correct. Where's my other brush? Okay. But yeah, that's true. Like, someone could be missing half of their brain, but the rest of the brain will adapt to become a whole brain, which is really cool. Yeah, the brain is fascinating. I feel like it's a very small window. It's exactly how much water I need to thin out my paints. Especially if I'm working very tiny like this. I think just like a slightly damp brush is good for blending, but not so much to apply water. Drawing. Are you referring to the book series? Yeah, I feel like sometimes it's just good to think about basic fundamental ways drawing, or like doing the thing that you already do, and just think about how to apply those fundamentals but in a totally different way. I think that's kind of what that book achieves. which I remember studying that page on clouds and smoke, where I really like drawing that stuff, you know, it's cool texture. But I noticed it was a very, like, this looks like this because in real life that's what's going on. Like this smoke billows because there's more weight to it, or the smoke is more like wispy because it's thinned out and it's in the air. Just like things that sound very obvious, but oftentimes we don't really account for that when we draw because we're just like, me want pretty. we don't think about like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense for that shadow to be there actually. Which is so bizarre, but it's cool to train yourself to think about that sometimes. I'm thinking about, you know, those how to draw anything, or like, I thought it was drawing at the right side of the brain. It's like that series of like the small books that we have. Like each page is like a different, I thought that was drawing at the right side of the brain. The neuroscience with the exercises alone can get someone up to speed with drawing 2 to 6 weeks. Yeah. How to think when you, I mean, it's like, that's a very similar title. Except one is using a specific part of the brain, and thinking is typically just any part of the brain. How to think when you draw. I'm probably not familiar with the former then, or very familiar. I want to learn how to draw in 6 weeks. Damn. One thing, I have to be careful with wings and textures and stuff is not to, I tend to like zone out and just apply everything with every single feather with the same treatment. And I have to think about how the light kind of shines on it overall as a big shape. So I gotta make sure these feathers up here remain a little brighter than the feathers back here because it's coming from this side. Oh, your 3D head visualization, which is also important. Gotta learn how to draw in 6 weeks. I know, right? Like, could have had more time to do other shit. No, it's I mean, really, how long does it like really take to learn how to draw? Like, people can learn how to draw after 1 class, and I'm not debunking the book at all because I think that sounds awesome. But I think we just learn. My impression of this book is that, like, yeah, we can learn how to draw relatively quickly, but we learn different spaces of that. And I think this book is a more, like, you still learn the same amount as you would in like your own way of learning, but it gives you like a general run, like it gives you an evenly distributed plate of fundamentals. That's what I'm thinking. You gotta bake so many more cakes. Oh my god. But instead you were busy trying to be good at art, which you are good at art, by the way. Not just trying. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I think this sounds so cheesy, but I swear, our art journey is just so unique and special to us. Like, every one of us has picked up something that like I know stuff that both of you don't know, and like you guys, well, all you guys don't know. And you guys pick up things that I don't know. Like every single person who is watching the stream and who will watch this stream knows something about art that I don't know. Even 5-year-olds. Even like little kids would know stuff that I wouldn't know about art because they have that view of the world that we don't. Yeah, it's true. I think what's interesting is a lot of us learned how to draw just self-taught, you know, from the internet or from library books or Pokemon in my case. Man, I don't think anyone has drawn so many Pikachus as I did. Like, every single homework page, there was like a little Pikachu on the back because I really wanted to get good at my Pikachus. You know, and I had some pretty decent Pikachus. I wasn't at Charizard level though. Like, all the kids who in elementary school who are good at drawing, they have like their Charizard drawing on their binder, and I'm like, that's too much for me. I'm still on Pikachu. Maybe I'll do some other Pokemon. Ditto. Yeah, drawing cartoons. Just copying what you see and being like, that's cool, I want to do that, and then doing it. Learning how to draw. You cut your teeth on Pokemon? Is this a figure of speech, or did... You know me, I interpret things so literally, so because I've actually like cut my teeth before. On chocolate, not on Pokemon though. Or is it, I know the phrase cut shapes, like, you know, you're dancing and you're like so badass on the dance floor. So I think maybe it's a figure of speech. I'm just imagining you like being so into drawing these Pokemon. You're like, you're just gritting your teeth really hard because you were just like on a roll. It was so intense. I don't know. Pokemon was real popular back then. And then you actually like chipped a tooth because you were just so like focused on drawing these Pokemon. Your preferred medium was teeth and notebook paper? I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know what kids did back in the day. I mean, I did some weird shit, but I didn't really like... Well, I used to eat paper when I was in first grade. I just thought paper was good. So I would just like chew a hole in my homework or something like that. I was a weird kid. It's your home. Oh, like the notebook paper teeth. where you like rip it off and it's all like messy and cute looking. Whoa, it's windy outside. I can hear that. That came out of nowhere. Ooh, with these bigger feathers, I'm gonna throw in a little bit more detail in there because I'm more real estate. You love the spiral? You still do. What do you mean loved? You still do. This is a present moment statement. I hated it. I always wanted something that tiered out clean, and then you know when you like tear a page out of a spiral notebook and then it has that line, that dotted line you can tear it out of, and then like you just get like the corner off wrong and it just ruins your whole day. Like that could have been a nice sheet of paper. But I mean, I like them better than the vertical pads. Like, you use a vertical pad. Come on, nerd. I'm gonna offend somebody in here. We enemies now. At least I'm not a vertical pad user. Yeah, and it's like, that's impossible to tear a page out of because there's no like thing. You just gotta like yank it. Hope for the best. Are you a vertical pad user? Ja, I'm sorry. I'm like, somebody's gonna be offended. It's okay. You know what? It's for bold people. I'm just gonna say that. It's for bold people. You are bold. Are you also a vertical pad? You are not. You're a spiral notebook guy. You just admitted that. You know, like the ones with like the binding is at the top and then you flip it over and that's the next page. And it's like hard to keep the page rolled over unless you have a binder clip, or else it flips right back. There's so many issues with the experience. You're more horizontal. I've never seen you use horizontal. Wait. No, wait, sorry. I take that back. I was thinking of vertical. Well, I've only seen you use horizontal. You don't like the spiral. You have to get that like clean paper. Perforated. Actually, these days I don't mind it because that's only when I was younger, but these days I don't mind the spiral. It's kind of cute, like in this charming like 2000s school chic nostalgia way. Like, ooh, look at this cool little like paper where we wrote cute notes to each other and stuff like that. I don't know. They don't look great finished. Wait, in what situation would it be finished? Oh, like when you rip it out? Oh, and then you get like part of the paper in the spiral, and then you have to like shimmy it out. That's like the worst and the best at the same time. It's actually kind of fun, but also kind of annoying. Like, it's satisfying, but you got better stuff to do, so. Just like, all right. looking at the reference, and I think, especially some of these feathers closer to the armpit. I have a dumb question. Do birds have armpits? But armpit region of a bird should probably be a little more ruffled. It's nice to have that texture variance too. If birds don't have arms, do they have armpits? Or do they have wing pits? Or is it called something totally different? Like if I were to open a scholastic book on birds and it showed me bird anatomy, what what is this? Can't be an armpit if it doesn't have any arms. You just bark. There you go. Whoa. Maybe we drink water too fast. Comes right back at you. Oh, the arugula pizza's here. Oh man. Welcome in. Sorry, I'm getting like allergies again. I've been great. Yeah. No, the arugula pizza still continues to haunt me to this day. And I think I remember the first time I went to visit Miko's mom, we got some pizza, like some wood-fired pizza. And like, she got some arugula pizza. We just both looked at each other. But you know what the you know what the weirdest part was that, so I don't eat meat toppings, especially on pizza. I prefer vegetarian or whatever. Like I eat seafood. So all the vegetarian options there just look really boring. Sometimes I like to get adventurous when I order from the menu, and I'm like, I'm gonna order a clam pizza. So I've had a clam pizza and it's not bad, but I feel like I say that with everything. It's not bad, but it's kind of like eating clam chowder in a breaded form. So it was interesting. You had a very strange arugula pizza the other day, apple and balsamic rocket pizza. So what's a rocket pizza? What does a rocket on a pizza entail? You know what? I actually find that the arugula pizzas are like, they involve like the balsamic and the apple. The arugula pizza that I ordered for that stream was a fig and prosciutto pizza. When I opened it, it was like all you guys could see was arugula, just like a bed of arugula. So it's like the fig and prosciutto was there and it was good. Whoa, I got a restream chat notification. 100 messages today. Rock on, y'all. Oh, rocket is a British word for arugula? I've never heard of that. Wow, thank you for letting me know, because I will avoid ordering that on a pizza if I say it's a rocket pizza. It's the best thing you've ever heard. Isn't that insane? That's so different. Like, is it because it's shaped like a rocket? Like, what? Or was this like a favorite of astronauts? But now I know. But I'm not sure if I've ever had British pizza before. I've had British flatbread, but not a pizza. I don't know if you guys would consider a flatbread to be a pizza. Pizza's has a pretty big variance in texture. Probably not. Probably that's why they call it a flatbread. Because maybe it's closer to toast than it is to pizza. Actually, I believe in Spain, when we were there last year, rocket was a type of cheese. Am I right about that? Interesting. Oh shoot, I'm painting with my blending brush now. That tends to happen. That's okay. I think I'm kind of at the point where I want to add a little bit more blendiness into my wings because they're textured pretty well. I think I just want to get that gradient. Rocket. Rocket cheese. Yeah, and we saw that multiple times. I'm like, what is this rocket cheese? Oh, okay. You know what? That makes sense because the base of something pretty much determines what it is, like the flatbread and the dough. What are you guys' thoughts on deep dish pizza and what do you guys have to think about it? As far as my thoughts go, I don't think I've ever had real Chicago deep dish pizza. I actually kind of want to go to Chicago at some point and see what's up with that, but I've had the only Chicago deep dish pizza I've had was at BJ's Bar and Restaurant, which is like this chain sports bar type of place, and it wasn't very good. But I've had Detroit style. There's boutique pizza places, I guess that's what you call them, like artisan pizza places out here, and they're good. The Detroit style was our favorite for sure, because we're like, Detroit style, I don't know what's up with that, and like I didn't expect it to be this like really deep style pizza, which I'm not sure, since I haven't had a true Chicago style, I'm not sure exactly how that compares, but it was good. Chicago style crust on the house menu. Yeah, it was on the house menu, and it was at that grill place too, which I think we did. I don't remember, but I remember seeing it there also. Shot at that pizza here, Chicago thin style. Oh, thin crust. Whoa, okay. I see that. Okay. Because yeah, the Chicago style pizza that I had, quote unquote, is it was just like, I don't want to say soggy because that's gross, but it was like a more respectable version of that, I guess. It was just like too soft. It was like just pizza toppings on bread. Like when you microwave a frozen like little pizza thing, it was like that. Um, so it just made me feel like crap afterwards. I just did not enjoy it. But I heard that those types of pizzas are not very good. Oh no, we lost one. We lost one to the food talk. I'm sorry. It's just fun to talk about pizza and food. Yeah, you're gonna have to tell us what kind of snack you ended up coming back with. Finally back in rhythm. I know it's not a choice rainbow stream. You know what? It's because arugula pizza came in. That's why. I said the pizza's back, so it's all your fault. Bringing the harmony back to the streams. It's your pizza self. Yeah, it made me think of pizza and good times. I like my my palate, my preference for pizza has changed as over the years. You're veteran. As a veteran of the Rainbow Streams, food is required. Absolutely. You know what's up. We back. Good Pie's deep dish. I think that's a Detroit style. Unless that's something different. Least favorite pizza. So like what would be your least favorite pizza? So like when I was younger, I loved Little Caesars. And I didn't get what everyone like talked crap about Little Caesars, but I'm like, dude, I loved pizza with a good crust as a child, and Little Caesars had some good crust. Now, I was a kid at the pizza parties at school who like go around and see like who didn't eat their crust, and I would be like, hey, crust. I just loved free food. Taking people's crust. Now, that is definitely not the case these days. I actually sometimes just leave the crust alone. Unless it's good, you know? Because I'm more of like, I really like that pizza that we get often. That more, I guess it's a New York style pizza, but you know what? When I went to New York, spent a few days there, for the first time, I had this list of food I was gonna eat. And then everyone was hyping up New York pizza. I just didn't get it. Like, I actually went to one pizza place, and then I had pizza, and I was like, I'm gonna try this again and go to another pizza place. And I mean, it had a better variety of toppings, that's for sure, but I think I really like it a little heavier. So this pizza we get, I think it's New York style, but it's a little heavier on the marinara, which I really like, that like saucy marinara pizza. And it's yeah, it's a type of pizza where you have to kind of fold it in half to eat like a New York pizza. But I think I just found the pizza in New York to be whatever, at least the two places that I went to. But maybe that's changed since I've been more of a topping person lately. Like a thinner crust pizza, I don't know. Mountain style? Spaghetti dinner on a pizza? What? Breadsticks, that's not pizza. That's like... The pound? I mean, vegetables can be pretty heavy. But I see what you mean for those who eat meat. That's something. Pizza by the pound. Oh my god. That is a 3D pizza. That's like I didn't really consider that pizza had a Z axis to it. That's a pretty that can get pretty hefty. I know, right? It's great by the pound. Like, how do you even eat that? Do you just pile on your pizza and then you roll it? Oh yeah, you can put in links, I think. I mean, last time I had Nightbot screaming at people, so if that happens to you, I apologize. An untapped axis. It is. It's like when you finally just realize that there's another dimension to things. It's like me with pizza. Spiritual awakening with pizza. It's like a snake. Wow, how dare you put google.com in our chat. I guess links are allowed. Oh, since you're a mod, I think you're fine. Yes, feel free to share with us. I'm gonna clean off my my blendy brush here a bit so I could get back to blending. Doing some stretches. This is like a, okay, so the camera's not really showing the whole painting, but it's like a medium size painting, I think like 18 by 24 or 16 by 20, something like that. Probably 16 by 20. So it's not too large, but man, painting can really make your arms tired after a while. I'm okay though. It's those like really big paintings that are like, whew, goodness. So like spaghetti and breadsticks on pizza. Like, what is the point of the pizza anyways? Does it just soak up all the pasta sauce and then at the end of eating all the spaghetti and breadsticks, you just eat this like sauced up pizza? Like, is that how it's done? Oh, the pizza ships. So you can order, are you telling me that you can order pizza by the pound and have it shipped to you? Edible plate. Okay, I get it. Like, I grew up in San Francisco. We were known for the bread bowls, the clam chowder bread bowls, and it's fun, like eating the thing that holds your food. It's like an extra layer of fun. Like, wow, what a bonus. So I think I get it. But you know me, like I'm just down to try just about anything. Clam chowder pizza bowl. See, now that just makes me think of the clam pizza that I had. So if you're ever curious about trying clam pizza, just gonna let you know, I'm pretty open-minded about most food, but this was an experience that you really don't have to try in your life. I've already tried it for you, and I'm saying it's you can try other things. I mean, like, I don't know, unless you like clams on pizza, then knock yourself out. Clam chowder in a bread bowl. So I think we established that it's not a pizza because the dough, it's not pizza dough. However, if it's pizza dough, unless clam chowder bowls are made with pizza dough, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about bread and baking. If it is pizza dough, then I guess it's a pizza. It's like a 3-dimensional pizza. That just sounds like slightly mortifying, honestly. Because it doesn't have that equal distribution of like sauciness if the pizza becomes 3D. So it would have to be some really strong dough, or else that's just gonna be a nightmare. That's true, sourdough bowl. I don't know, can you make a sourdough crust? You probably can. Sourdough pizza. I remember when we were sick. Not this most recent time, but I remember a week ago. No, I remember when we were sick, like a year ago, I think. And you know what sounds really good right now? Going to Sprouts, getting some soup, and putting it in a bread bowl. Yeah, I don't see why not. I think that's a thing that exists. I feel like in Vegas we have a lot of pizza places. We have a lot of good pizza places too. So I'm sure there's like a lot of different types out here. Like we have the wood-fired pizza, which is pretty good. Wood-fired pizza, I feel like is half crust though. Like I feel like it's basically half of it is just the crust. It's a very thick crust. Well, very wide crust thin pizza. I mean, it's good though. Not complaining. We have a place in town that does those wood-fired pizzas, and they have dessert pizzas. which is actually not bad. I think I had one of them. It's like an apricot or something like that. There's no strachan. Is that a part of a element of making bread? Never made bread before, but I've made naan, which wasn't too bad. Oh, really? There's no sriracha? I would have expected that to be kind of a common grocery store thing, but oh wow. Like, what do people use instead of sriracha? It's such a unique sauce compared to all the other hot sauce anyways. Oh, I had no idea. Damn, you guys are Ronnie. She used to have, I don't know if she still has it, but like a sriracha keychain. Because she likes to just put it on everything. Oh, goddamn. Oh, is it apricot brie and prosciutto? Okay. That's right. Damn, it's always something. I'm not in the loop. I didn't know sriracha. The shortage. Oh wow. There's no hot sauce in Arkansas? Like at all? Ooh. The whole state of Arkansas? No. Probably in your region. Maybe there's just a pepper shortage, I don't know. I've always wanted to make my own hot sauce, but I'm scared. Because, like, it gets on your hands, and I'm like, what if I just get a chemical burn? Touch my eyes on accident. Oh! It looks fun. Oh, what in the world? It's already 5:30? Wow. I have no idea I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. What in the world? That's crazy. I'm like, I just got like half a wing done. Like, I know I've been talking to you guys and stuff, but I feel like I've been consistently working on this. Wow. But I mean, it looks detailed though, at least. Probably where all that time went. I'll probably go, I don't know. I usually end stream at 6. But like, I might go a little longer if, just to reach like a good stopping point. Man, that 2.5 hours went by fast. Tortillas are located in the international food. Yeah, that's what I assumed. I'm like, if your grocery store doesn't have sriracha, it probably doesn't have a lot of like everything else that has to do with Mexican food and international food and Asian food and stuff like that. know what's crazy though is that apparently our friends in the UK, I guess like in the UK, there's not a lot of Mexican food. I remember someone coming into stream and they're like, I've actually never had tacos or burritos before. And I was like, are you serious? It's great. Go make some right now. Like, it'll change your life. I feel like it's just a very easy, convenient way to eat something. Aw, am I streaming until dinner? Is that what's going on? I don't mind doing that. I mean, like, I have nothing else going on for this evening anyways. We're all inspired now by this show called The Bear on Hulu, and it's really good. Fuck, I can't think about that show right now because I'm actually pretty hungry, and like that show has just so much B-roll of food. Okay, I mean, I'll just stay on until I just feel like it. I mean, I am kind of like in pain still, so, but I'm okay. I think I could like stay on a little longer. I don't mind. Spun the wheels. The potato wheels? What? I'll be fine. It's just cramps and stuff. But yeah, but that's okay because I actually just I'm finally better from. We got this gnarly cold. So for those of you who missed it, uh, I was gone for 2 weeks because the first week we went to the Electric Forest Music Festival, which was totally super lots of fun, and it's in Michigan. Let me know when you're 30 minutes away from being done. Okay. Yeah, it's in Michigan, and we got like the gnarliest cold coming back. It happened on my birthday. I'm so sick. And like my voice probably sounds a little scratchy today, but I'm fine. Because the day we came back, I just slept all day. I think I got up for a total of 3 hours to my parents were super cool. They just dropped off our dog instead of me having to go over there. So I had to like open the door to that and eat some lunch. DoorDash some Jason's Deli. Concrud sucks. Yeah. So the music festival version of Concrud is called Wook Flu because they call like the like bro hippie type of people that attend festivals Wooks because they're like Star Wars Wookiees. So yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you're around over 50,000 people in the heat and the dust and you're camping. Yeah, we were camping the whole time. Camped for like 5 nights in the elements. Still don't like it. Me neither. Yeah, it was like I haven't been so sick. Hammocks or tent? We had a tent. We had it, well, both, but The hammock was just to bring into the forest because you can like bring your hammock in there and just chill out. So that was cool. We just did that for a couple hours, but like if next time we go back, we'll be doing that more because that was really cool. Yeah, but the general admission part where we camped was not shaded. So we had to fly with a canopy because like you really need a canopy out there. Some chairs, some tarps, and like all our camping stuff, like sleeping bags, tent, all that stuff. And Southwest, you can fly with 2 check-in bags per person for free. So we just hauled everything over in a rental car. But it actually protected us from like the heat and the rain, and there was even lightning and like all this wind. And we did pretty good. Some people were not so fortunate. But yeah, there were no like trees or anything. It was just the field. But the actual venue, the actual music festival venue had places where you can set up your hammocks. There were a ton of hammocks that people had. So it was pretty cool. Actually, when I do just normal camping, just normal like a quiet going out in nature style camping like we did at Death Valley, I do bring the hammock with us because, well, I bring the standing hammock because we have tree hammocks and then we have standing hammocks. And the standing hammock is a lot more like, it can support more weight and it's thicker and it's just a beefier hammock overall. So I bring that and it's really cool just to lay in there and just like, oh, I get to start the other side now. Just like lay in there and look at the stars and chill out. Oh no, I would hate that. Oh, that sounds terrifying. See, I've actually been slightly more okay with spiders. I think long legs are technically not spiders, but arachnids, or whatever. But anyways, they're spider-like, and so I hated spiders as a kid. I hated spiders. I was terrified of them. But it's not so bad now, but still, like if there's like multiple spiders on me, that's not okay. That's not okay. Yeah, I've taken naps in hammocks, but I've never like slept fully in a hammock. I just want to be protected from the elements and from spiders, bugs, bears. I don't know. I've never went camping with any bears, but apparently that's a serious problem that you should like prepare for. The only critters that have been around while camping are just really small critters, like animals that got into our bread buns, or we left those out on accident. And yeah, my friend came back and he had like his buns were missing. It was probably like a little fox or something like that. Or when we went camping in Death Valley, I did not expect any animals to be around because it's just this really bare desert. But at night, all these little critters came out, these little marsupials. It's like these little tiny, like field mice looking creatures, but they have very long tails. They have like feathers on their tails. And I was like, there's so many like little mice around here. It was kind of freaking me out at first. I was like, what if it crawls up my leg? And like, I can't see anything. It's like weird. But they were actually pretty chill. There were just a bunch of them running around because I guess there was a nest close by or something. And it turned out that these were kangaroo rats, and they survive in super, super dry climates because they recycle the moisture from their own breath and from seeds that they eat. And that's like where they get their water, is from the moisture of their own breath. That's insane. There's little creatures. Never met a bear camping. Did get scared by a mountain goat. I don't think I've seen a mountain goat in the wild, but we do have bighorn sheep, which are kind of similar, but I think smaller. I think mountain goats are kind of like, they're pretty big. Oh, you said they're huge, so yeah, but yeah, bighorn sheep are they're smaller than mountain goats, I think. Hey, welcome back. What'd you end up getting as a snack? They're very cute. They were like, it's funny because you think of a rat as this ugly varmint. I'm amused by that word. Actually, I think I'm putting the lighting on the wrong side, which is weird because the light is actually like coming from the phoenix. I think. It's its own light source, which is gonna be kind of weird. But I feel like with how bright this phoenix is, kind of radiating from its chest. So I think if I'm gonna do that, I gotta make this chest really bright. And then it'll just radiate in both directions. And that's kind of what I was going for. So, okay. Oh, you made a smoothie? Damn, we were just talking about before the stream how good that sounds. Oh, the sheep. Yeah, sheep are like huskier, I think. 300 pounds. You know, I've never seen a moose, but I've seen an elk, and those are pretty damn huge. So I can't imagine what a moose looks like in person, because they're even bigger. Popcorn. Popcorn's not that bad for you. Miko just got a popcorn maker for his birthday. Been making popcorn. But I get it, you know, smooth. It's like more nutrient. Especially to hydrate you in those hot Texas climates. Miko made a cucumber, like a cold cucumber soup. I'm so excited to try that. And I was like, isn't that a smoothie? Technically. I do like cucumber smoothies though. No more water, please. Yeah. It's so dry here. Like, I have to drink water all the time. And in Europe, I'm just like, how do people not drink water out there? No one provides water. How do you guys do this? You hear that? Jaw wants 3D printed soup. I have to go out and find some soup soup filaments. Not nuts. You can 3D print spaghetti. I wonder what 3D printing soup would be like. 3D print cook for people. That'd be so cool. Like, kind of like you cook the food. Oops. You cook the food in the software. You make it in a blender. Get it? Use blender to like make a smoothie. That's actually its hidden skill. That's why it's called blender. Gardening sounds like 3D printing. What? I mean, like, I guess. I mean, like, I guess. Not the first thing I would think of. I'm gonna go 3D print some soup. Disassembly required. Man, I swear, next year is gonna be the year that I finally do gardening. And well, we did some yard work with installing pavers. Well, we didn't install them, but maintain them anyways, pavers. But next year is gonna be the year where I finally plant all the herbs that I've been meaning to plant. And I mean, like, I've gardened in the garden before. Like, I had a really beautiful bunch of sunflowers 2 years in a row. And then I had a basil plant, but dude, the wind will kill everything. So I've lost a lot of plants to the wind. My mom planted some mint in one of my planters and it just took over. So I'm like, God damn it. Printing chocolate and bread. Yeah, Annie was also talking about how you can 3D print spaghetti. Like, there's a printer for that. Naruto is just a fish paste. So a ramen might be fish ramen in a bread bowl. That's not bad. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so my mom like knows her shit when it comes to gardening, but I'm like, why would you plant mint with all my other stuff? It takes over. What am I gonna do with all this mint? It won't die, and it's just there. My roommate also, or my old roommate also left a tomato plant. And I think he just abandoned it because it started dying. But it started, like, my mom helped it live again, so... I had some cherry tomatoes for a while, or these little garden tomatoes. But I think next time if I'm gonna plant tomatoes, they really need to be in a shaded area because they got, like, the tomatoes really got sun-dried. It's like, whoa, potatoes get hot really quick. So instead we have a cactus there in place of a tomato. Oh, catnip. That's a good choice. I think catnip's a pretty easy plant. I think I just want like the next I don't think no, I've grown basil. I've actually made pesto out of garden basil before, so that's cool. But yeah, I just want like a bunch of herbs because I feel it feels pretty wasteful whenever I do buy herbs that I get like this $3 little thing of herbs and I only use 10% of it and then the rest just goes bad. So I'm like, okay, I just want to be able to make my own herbs. And then my mom also planted some shallots, which I think I used it like once. And some spring onion, which actually helped out. So just like herbs that I can just grab, you know? And My mom has a lemon tree waiting for me too, so I'll probably get that. That's the thing too, you just never know when you're gonna need a lemon. Basil, dill, parsley, garlic, shallots. Oh, I don't think my garlic flowered. I think my mom planted more of a shallot. That's what it seems to be. And actually, no, I think I was confused at first because I thought it was a spring onion, but it turned out she was growing shallots, and I didn't find out that they were shallots until much later. Onions, if we're getting crazy, we can get crazy. I think onions will start to grow actual vegetables. That's going to be like my level 2. I think level 1 for me is just herbs. But I mean, I'll go as crazy as I can. I just have to work up to it. As you're planting a plot of it. Is that just how the onions work? It's like it just needs its onion community or something. Yeah, spring onions are pretty easy. I mean, like, whatever can grow out in the desert. You know, like I think something like berries might be pretty difficult. But I don't know, maybe we can grow some lettuce or start growing things that we actually eat. That'd be pretty cool. We don't really have, I have to make planter beds for them because we don't really have soil or dirt for the plants. So I have to make planter beds. But they're not too hard to make. I already have one that I made. Okay, it's 5:50. I think I'll just finish this side as far as the wings though. So I think I'll be on for another like 30 minutes. I think now is like that 30-40 minute mark. Yeah, I think like just finishing this side of the wing. Because what we do today, so we glazed both wings. And then I did this half. Then I'm gonna do this half. And that'll be it for today. And next time I tackle this, either I might do some off-work stream. I'll just lay on like another round of oranges over this and then just keep going. No, I really like doing all this like texture detail stuff on stream. It helps to like talk to people about food or art supplies or whatever while I just render that stuff out. Because sometimes it can just drive me crazy when I do it by myself. Roger, we got some like fish and potatoes coming out. Cucumber soup, which needs 8 hours to cool, so it was made previously in the day. Scoot painting. Scoot. Like way too many brushes on this table. I mean, like, yeah. 6 hours, 8 hours. I think it's fine. Still be cool as a cucumber. All right, what's going on with the top of this wing here? Try to shape that out a bit. Did you guys get so many fireworks in your neighborhood? I feel like a lot of... I mean, I've not only noticed this in my neighborhood, but a lot of Vegas neighborhoods have like huge fireworks everywhere. And especially if you go in a place that's higher up, you can see like all the little casinos that are around the city and all the fireworks coming off of it, which I've done in previous years. But it's like, dude, we don't even have to go over go anywhere to see anything. Like when I was growing up, I would have to, like my parents and I went by the bay because we were from California, and we would just like sit at the docks. There was a place to watch them by the docks. But yeah, I just miss being by water. Oh, here as well. I think they're just starting to become more accessible for residents to buy. Because I feel like growing up, it was just the like companies and institutions that would set them off. Now they're just everywhere. Let's make this bird bright more. Oh wow, yeah, I know there's like they have like these huge warehouses in Nevada where you can buy them like outside of the city and stuff. I mean, I've never been that crazy into them, or my family. We just had like the little for like New Year's and 4th of July, we just had the little sparklers and and like the little pop-it things that we would get from Chinatown. And it was just, you know, small, small stuff. Yeah, we don't really do much anyways. Like we just stay home. And our little dog, he's not little, but he's a sweetheart, and he's not like terrified, but he'll just like stand by you and just be really quiet. That's when I know he's nervous. So we were just staying home, so I have some company. Worms. I wonder if that's the Japanese firework Nico was talking about. Yeah, so is it like just one of those little things that kind of fizz up? We've seen those too. Those are fun. So many like names for fireworks I don't even know. Thingamabobs. Gotta ruffle up some chest feathers here because Phoenix is kind of looking like an artichoke. That's the fun part. That's kind of what we were doing over here. Ah, dude, so they gave us all an artichoke leaf in kindergarten. Somehow this is one of my like earliest school memories. And they made everyone just like try it. And back then, I hated any kind of vegetable. Now I love vegetables, but back then, I don't know. I think just the way that like my parents cook vegetables were not that great. So I just hated them. I just hated them. Hated that like green vegetable taste. So I'm gonna try. And we even tried to like dip them in ranch or something. I was like, no. So naturally, years later, I tried artichoke hearts. Ooh, they are so good. They're actually one of my favorite pizza toppings is artichoke hearts. They're so good. And I've tried the artichoke leaf thing too, as well, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I was like, this really isn't so bad. It's actually kind of good. That butter sauce, yeah. Artichokes. Like, I think the first vegetable I tolerated as a child was lettuce in a Caesar salad. And that was like, I'd have to really put a lot of ranch and a lot of croutons to want to eat that salad. Then eventually I was like, wait a minute. These vegetables just have to be cooked right. Not like boiled or however I had them. Like asparagus. Like, I hated asparagus. I was like, why does this thing exist? As a kid, I hated it. And then I went to Disneyland. And they have some of the bombest food at Disneyland, actually. I had this like bacon wrapped asparagus thing as a child. Like, whoa, this is so good. I was like, okay, maybe asparagus isn't that bad after all. Vegetarian shrimp. Is that referring to the artichoke? The sin against cabbage. I like to steam broccoli. I like to blanch broccoli, but I don't think vegetables taste good when they're boiled. I mean, like, if it's in a soup, maybe like bok choy or like spinach in a soup or something like that, that's fine. But yeah, I think just a very Filipino way of cooking vegetables is to boil them. Not here for that. Oh, I see. You eat the meat and you leave the shell. I just bought some shrimp today, but it was like, I like to have my shrimp already peeled. Pan fried is easier for sure. Blanching is a whole thing because I have to get a double boiler and then steam them. I mean, I've blanched vegetables in like the blanching dish thing too, but a double boiler is way better. And then I put them in a bowl of ice, like I immediately ice the broccoli. But it gives us this really beautiful green color. And apparently that's how you get all the nutrients out, is by blanching it. And that's why it's so green. It's all nutrient rich. That's one thing I've noticed as I've gotten older, is like I can just taste nutrients now. And whereas before I was like, I just want to eat Little Caesars. Or IHOP. IHOP was my favorite restaurant. IHOP was my favorite restaurant until my mid-20s when I learned how to cook. I swear, once you start learning how to cook, like it'll just change your perception of restaurants. I feel like, because after I learned how to cook, IHOP was no longer my favorite restaurant, but I still do love a good like IHOP meal every now and then, but it's just too much. Yeah, dude, and like it was probably too because we went there a lot as a kid. Almost every week, actually. We went to IHOP a lot. And I would always get, when I was really young, I would get the Happy Face pancakes, the chocolate chip one, and I'd always get hot chocolate next to my chocolate Happy Face pancakes. My dad would always make sure, tell the waiter to give me extra whipped cream because I loved whipped cream on the hot chocolate and tons of whipped cream. And the Happy Face pancakes, I was basically just eating dessert every time I came in there like that. Like a very, very sweet meal. But when I became like an older child, like 8, 9 years old, I switched it over to Pigs in a Blanket. And then, no, actually I switched that over like early elementary school. And then I switched it over to crepes when I got a little older. I was like, ooh, or cheese blintzes, which is like kind of like a warm cottage cheese type of mix in crepes. I just love crepes. I think they're delicious. That was like my IHOP thing, and I've never really understood back then. I never really understood the pancake hype, so I was just like, whatever about pancakes. But eventually I did like end up really liking pancakes, especially with a good batter. Yum. I don't know what's going on with these feathers right here, but we'll fix it. We'll get there. silver dollar pancakes. Oh yeah, they're so cute. I love them now. I love little pancakes. And we even have this breakfast spot in town called Baby Stacks that just sells all these different savory, like sweet pancakes. Actually, and it's so good, but you're seriously just eating dessert. Yeah, the appetizer platter. We would do that at Denny's too, just like order all the appetizers, appetizer platter. And I don't know, they probably still have this going on at Denny's, but we would always take advantage. It was like the 2 4 6 8 menu where there were like $2 items, $4 items, $6, $8 items. And I've never gone to a Denny's so much in my life up until I started hanging out with people who played Super Smash Brothers competitively, and then we would always, you know, hang out for the tournament and then go to a nearby Denny's, and we were like a bunch of like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, like 20 of us just piling into a Denny's at 1 in the morning, and we would all order like the 2 4 6 8 items because we were all like so broke and like really young. You hated mustard and loved deviled eggs. You know what? The same applies for me. I've always loved deviled eggs. I still do love deviled eggs. Oh, there's a place in town that does fried deviled eggs. It is so good. Man, I am overdue for some fried deviled eggs. But yeah, same. I've never enjoyed mustard until I reached adulthood. And I'm like, okay, I like mustard now. I like mustard with my pretzels. Except at Electric Forest, there was... we ordered pretzels multiple times when we were there. And we would always get mustard, and usually the mustard was normal. But there was just one day that they gave us mustard that practically tasted like horseradish. Like it was some really, really, really strong mustard. It's like, what in the world? Road to deviled eggs. Yeah, I think that's really it. I don't even think, because I would actually make deviled eggs whenever I had a family function, like we'd go hang out with the extended family for Christmas or for Thanksgiving or whatever. I always contributed with some sort of meal. Deviled eggs is just easy. I don't even know if I put mustard in mine. I think it was just straight up mayo and salt and pepper. Like cayenne, I think that was it. Maybe I put mustard, I don't know. But it's very simple. Deviled eggs are very simple. It was just horseradish. Yeah, I was like, did somebody switch the bottles around and put horseradish in our mustard cup? That was some insane. It was actually, well, that like wasabi horseradish type of spice I find to be really fun because it just kind of like comes and goes. I hate the type of spice where it's like some pepper spices just really make you cough. And like, oh, I hate the spice where it just stays on your lips and it just doesn't go away. I hate that linger, but the wasabi horseradish type of spice, it's like a it just comes and goes. So I think that they're fun. But I mean, I can't eat that much horseradish in one sitting. That was a lot of horseradish type mustard thing. Gourmet 7-layer dip. Yeah, I remember that. Holy cow. I would kind of like circle between a few things. I did like deviled eggs. I did sushi for a while. Well, it was like the imitation crab meat kind of sushi. Yeah, everyone loved that. I mean, I was kind of like forced into making something because like my mom just told me that I should make it, and like whatever, I guess I'm gonna make this now. But I mean, sushi was kind of a lot. But I did have a sushi making kit with a bamboo where you could roll up the seaweed with the rice, and so it wasn't bad. It was, I think I just needed to clean my knife every time because you have to have the knife gets gunked up with rice quite often, so I think I just had to have like a better cutting technique, which I didn't. Because of that, like there were rolls that fell apart pretty often. But I mean, I think I could do a better job now. I have better knife technique than I used to. But yeah, I did like sushi. I would bake stuff. So I would bake like brownies or oh, there's just one dish. It's typically made out of rice, but it's like a little Filipino dish, and it's but it's the way I made it was pancake mix, and it was in a double boiler, so it kind of tasted like this rice, the rice Filipino rice dessert. You can put like cream cheese on it and stuff. What else did I make? Yeah, deviled eggs was an easy one. I think that was like the first one I started to make. Oh wow, never had a better sandwich. You know, I've actually heard that one of the main things that ruins sandwiches for people is a soggy tomato, which I actually don't mind. I don't mind tomatoes, really. I kind of like them. But a beefsteak tomato, like one of those really like beefy, meaty tomatoes, those are preferred for sure. Candied bacon, homegrown heirloom tomato. Oh, heirloom tomatoes, that's what's it. Even better than beefsteak tomatoes, honestly. That's probably why you like it so much, because heirloom tomatoes are just a whole different thing. Chipotle aioli. That sounds really good. I think I haven't made food for a function in a long time, but my go-to thing now as an adult is like bacon wrapped dates for sure. And I do some of them without bacon for like people who don't eat bacon like me, but I'm not gonna take away the pleasure of a bacon wrapped date, because that's a pretty good combination. So what you do is you buy some dates, seedless dates, and you open them up, you stuff them with almonds, with an almond, cream cheese, and then you wrap it in bacon and you boil it. So it takes some prep time, but bacon wrapped dates are decadent. They're so good. Oh, you make ramen for people? That's really cool. I don't think I've ever made ramen. I feel like, because you probably take the bones and boil it for a while, huh? I feel like that's how to make ramen stock. Oh, you use that too. Never thought about that. I mean, that's cool though. Still won't complain if I got some top ramen. That was actually the first dish that I learned how to cook. I don't know. Do you guys remember the first dish you ever cooked? Because mine was top ramen. It was just, you boil some noodles and you put in the packet, and that's it. So pretty simple for like an 8-year-old or however old I was when I did that. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it than just you throwing in a packet, but yeah, I don't have the recipe channel anymore, but you can post it in in culinary arts. That's an appropriate place for that. So I don't know if you saw this, but or for those of you who haven't seen the Discord, that link is in the description, by the way. If you guys want to join, everyone's welcome. But I reformatted it lately, so I switched out the threads for forums, especially in the creative section, because our server has it's the art den, so there's like different types of art you can post. There's like visual, crafting, audio performance, photography, language arts, culinary arts, STEM arts too. And I made a new figure drawing channel, and that's really like a place to post NSFW work, but more so like for artistic nude, since the rest of our channel is 13 plus, so that like artistic nude channel is for like if you want to do figure studies. That's like a good place to post them there. So we do have our culinary arts channel. There's already been some submissions in there. Of course, Ronnie has some stuff and she's always cooking something good. But yeah, feel free to post it there, because I want to see more things y'all have been making, especially food. Goodness, like I can't go wrong with food. Culinary arts. Carbonara, the first dish you learned outside of warming up soup. Carbonara, how's that made? Now heating up soup. I'm sure it's easy though, I just don't really recall what that is. I think the second thing I learned how to cook was an egg. But growing up, we always modified our own ramen. I think my mom liked to put fish balls in hers. Egg was another popular one. Dude, I can still actually go for some egg in the ramen. That's not bad. I actually kind of like that spicy ramen stuff that Miko had the other day. I only had a few bites, but I kind of like it. All right, I think aside from some details here and there, pretty much done for today. We went a little bit over time just to get the other side balanced out, but yeah, there you go. We have like our tone set for our phoenix. We glazed over with some red paint over the white wings, and then we put some more white on it. And then I might be working on this some more off stream, but I definitely do want to bring this painting back on stream and get it wrapped up probably, because we're probably like, it's really hard to say where you are in the painting process, but I got most of that form of the bird in there, and it's been like my second my second round at painting wings too, so that took some time, but they're looking a million times better now. But yeah, next stream should be next week. They're most likely gonna be on Wednesdays at this time, but they do change sometimes, so make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Join our Discord server, because I'll be posting updates there about, I post when I'm gonna stream ahead of time, so you can notify yourself if you want a reminder of when the streams come up. And if you're subscribed to my channel, I believe you also get emails. I think I get emails for when I go live, which is like cool. Like, thanks for letting me know. But yeah, that's the best way. And I'll either come back with this piece or I'll do something else, but I'm just like ready to ready to rock, you know, I'm ready to like get some more work done and feeling creatively energized. So that's always a good feeling, and pretty excited about where painting is going to take me, and some more pieces that I have in mind. Can't wait to show you guys. A 3-piece pancake breakfast. Ooh. Bacon, spaghetti. Oh, okay, so it's kind of like a spaghetti. Interesting. I'll have to look into. I don't think I've ever made a carbonara. I'll have to look into that. All right, guys. So this stream will be available on YouTube immediately. If you missed part of it and you want to check out the beginning, but until then, have a good rest of your night or morning wherever you are, and I will see you guys next week.